Some people have a hard time imagining that they could find clients who could afford to spend $1,000 per month on anything that they have to offer. And if that's you, I've got three quick things to share with you. The first is the average business-to-consumer business in the United States spends about 14% of their gross revenue on marketing. So what that means is focus on business-to-consumer businesses because they spend more on digital marketing, which is what you do. Thing number two, all you need to do is you need to find a business that generates at least $120,000 a year in gross revenue. And even if you only want 10% of their revenue to go to you, so that's about 2/3, it's not even all of their marketing budget, then what that means is they can afford to spend $1,000 per month. And then thing number three is if you don't do something about this mindset limitation where you feel like nobody could afford $1,000 per month, then not only are you not going to have a very profitable business, but you're not putting yourself into a position to be able to help other people. Because honestly, what can you do for a couple $100 a month that's really going to move the needle for anybody? So just remember that as long as you're making more money for your client than you're charging them to work with you, anything is affordable. Okay, so with all of that in mind, what are the three steps that you can take to bundle together some digital marketing services that would be worth $1,000 per month? And these are the three things that I see overlooked all the time in favor of running ads or doing SEO or something like that. Now, you can still run the ads and do the SEO in addition to this, but take a look at this because this is a huge thing that by itself is worth at least $1,000 per month. And here's the first step. The first step is what I call outcome marketing, meaning that you take your client's business. Again, it's a business to consumer thing, so people are searching for answers to various types of problems, and you market the business based on the result of their products rather than the features or rather than something super generic. And I'll give you some examples. So I was doing a search over the weekend and I found this company that sells cooling hats. So you like put a hat on your head. Yeah, first you wet it and then you kind of wring it out, and then the fabric is designed in such a way that it's super evaporative. Like it really facilitates evaporation, which then cools your head. And they're like the experts in like cooling and heat combating apparel. And I thought that was really cool because like if you were just going to search for baseball caps or something like that, like, you know, there's bazillions of them out there, right? But if you're looking for this particular kind of hat, because maybe you're going to go fishing or go jogging or be outdoors in the heat, especially right now, this time of year, then wouldn't it be nice to be able to combat the heat? And that's one of these things that's got like a really specific outcome that you can start marketing. Some other products that you could position in like an outcome marketing way. I'll give you a few more examples just to kind of get the gears turning. Like resistance bands. Do you ever see people like working out with like these elastic bands? Well, that is something where you could say something like build muscle, burn fat, sustainable results with more freedom or something like that, right? Because like that's the outcome of the band. Another example would be swim spas. Like I was researching swim spas. And I didn't even know what swim spas were until I started looking into it. A swim spa is basically a gigantic shoebox-shaped swimming pool that's like maybe 30 feet long. And on one end, it's like a hot tub. And then the other like 25 feet of it is like a swimming pool. And you can put a current through the pool so that you can use it as sort of like a swimming treadmill, or you can adjust the current so you can kind of make it sort of like a lazy river. So it's like a completely new way to put a pool in your backyard. And it's great because they can just drop it into the backyard. They don't have to really assemble it. Basically, the whole thing kind of comes pre-configured and it's like insanely insulated so that you can use it all year long. So it's like this really interesting way to get a pool in your backyard. That has so much more usability into it compared to just a traditional in-ground pool. So instead of saying, hey, we've got swimming pools where you're kind of just bland and generic, you could say something like more features, more fun, less work. Here's a new swimming pool. And you can then talk about all the features and fun and how there's less maintenance and all that stuff. But that's the outcome of that particular type of pool. Another one is the Good Feet store. Like, I don't know if you've ever had any problem with your feet before, like plantar fasciitis, or you're gotten into running or something, and you're pronating your ankles or something like that. Well, this particular store fixes problems even if you feel like you've tried everything and nothing's working. So in fact, their headline is America's Arch Support Experts when nothing else worked. You see how that's really targeting the outcome rather than, ooh, wouldn't it be great to have these insoles in your shoes or something like that? And then one last example that's more in like the consumer service industry would be functional medicine. And the idea behind functional medicine is that rather than just masking symptoms with prescriptions, you try to get down to like what's causing your problems, and then you don't have to have all the medications. You can actually have a natural remedy to your health that really kind of fundamentally transforms your lifestyle. So how can you embody that into like an outcome? What if you said something like, stop guessing, start healing, root cause solutions for digestive health? Like you could say something like that, right? And so all of that is to say that you're taking your client's product or service and you're putting the thing that people want front and center. So people know what it is, who it's for, and why they would need it, rather than just listing like a catalog or something super generic. So that's step one. That's the outcome aspect of it. Step two is how do you get leads for that? So you need to convert traffic that's hitting the site into leads by collecting an email address of some sort. And it could be any number of things. So like here are a couple examples. Like for the hat guys that are selling these cooling apparel products, they could have a lead magnet, something like top 5 ways to stay cool while you're outside, and then list a bunch of ways to stay cool and rehydrate and be fresh. But the other thing that you can do is you can also have coupons. But I like to try to avoid coupons for cold traffic, because you're with a coupon, you're offering money for something that people don't want yet. And so when you just kind of splash up a, hey, get a 10% discount or a 20% discount on your first order or whatever, if it's warm traffic and they already know they want the product, then of course, yeah, that's great. But those tends of like coupons or discounts or whatever tend to work better for things like cart abandonment or lead nurturing sequences or something where the traffic is a bit warmer and they know that they want the product and therefore the coupon means something. Because if you don't want the product, who cares? Like what if I gave you 10% off with that big pile of leaves in my yard or whatever? It's like, you don't want the leaves, and therefore you wouldn't want the 10% off. You see what I mean? So if you can think of something that's more entertaining, more educational, has more immediate value, even if you don't buy the product, that tends to be a really good lead magnet. Another example would be like for the exercise bands. Like you could just download a workout chart or a workout app or different ways to boost your metabolism throughout the day, even if you're not using the elastic band, right? Or with the swim spas, you could have like a price calculator where you poke in some numbers about like where you live and how often you plan to use the thing and how many people are in your family and how big the thing needs to be to support that number of people or whatever. And then you get like an estimate of what the thing costs, but maybe you email the estimate. And it doesn't even have to be an automated thing. It'd be like you just fill out a little quick survey of like how you plan to use the swim spa. And like a real person on the other side can like get that form submitted to them, look at it, use their actual brains, and then email you back. So it doesn't even have to be AI. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just like, it's just a form submitted where you're getting hot leads for people that might want a swim spa. Or with the good feet example, it could be like 5 ways you're accidentally damaging your feet. And it could be all different types of things that you're doing day to day that isn't really good for your arch or your foot health that maybe you didn't even think about. And that would be a great lead magnet. Or with the digestive health thing, it's like it could be, here's my top 10 favorite gluten-free dessert recipes. Right? So like all of these are examples of ways to get email addresses in exchange for something cool, like a content upgrade. It's not freely available on the site, but it doesn't cost anything other than an email address. So now you're at step 2 where you've captured the lead and you've learned something about who that person is based on the lead magnet that they opted in for. So that's helpful for this third section, which is the lead nurturing sequence, which is usually an email automation, but it could be something else. It could be like a live workshop, or it could be an evergreen webinar or something like that. But normally, the easiest thing to start with is like an email sequence, where now that you know who the person is based on the lead magnet they signed up for, you can then educate them in some way as to why they should start buying your stuff, right? And it could be like an educational, like a mini course where you send like somebody a lesson a day for 5 days or something. It doesn't have to be that. It could be case studies, like with the good feet example or the functional medicine example. It could be like, some people were like this, they tried our stuff, and now they're much better. And you could kind of, in series, send a couple of different case studies that encourage, oh yeah, well, if it worked for them, it worked for me, I'll call. It could be showing that you understand them by hitting them with really specific details of the problems that they're in. And then they'll be like, oh, well, if they understand this degree, with this level of specificity of exactly what problem that I'm having, well, then people naturally assume that you also have the solution to that problem. And that would be a thing that you could do. So like the lead, and it could be a combination of all of those things. Like you could intermix those types of messages in your nurturing sequence so that you now are actually getting calls out of it. So that takes you from a landing page with outcome marketing, so you actually get attention and traffic to the page because of the thing that people want. Then you capture the lead, and then you nurture the lead into a phone call. And all of those things are monthly services, because especially like even the lead capture thing, because you might change what the lead magnet is to see what converts better. You might have a couple of different examples, or even with the landing page, it's like change the wording on the landing page and the layout of the page to get more people to sign up for the lead magnet. So, and you want to get the opt-in rate at somewhere up near 20%. So if you're measuring this and it's like at 10% or 7%, we'll start changing some headlines and moving some stuff around and get that opt-in page going, and then get the lead magnet working for you, and then get the lead nurturing sequence working for you. And it might even be something seasonal, like with the swimming pool thing. Like in the summer, it's like, oh, here's how to cool off and have a great summer. But in the winter, it's like, wouldn't it be great to go swimming even when it's cold outside? And so you're like changing the lead magnet based on the season. So it's totally an ongoing thing, both in terms of seasonal stuff like we just talked about, but also performance stuff. And all of this stuff are things that you would bundle together. And you would have to charge at least $1,000 a month to do all that, because that's a lot of work. But if people are like selling swimming pools or life-changing health results or something like that, you're making way more money for your client than you're charging them to do the work, and everyone is winning. So now you've got this profitable business, your client's making a lot of money, they're getting great results to their clients, and I think you're gonna really love it. It's very exciting to do those types of things. So that's the idea, and it's not exclusive. Like, you could also run ads and do organic SEO and all the other things, but don't overlook these three, even though they're kind of hiding there right in plain sight. Now, if you're looking for another quick service that you can kind of throw into the mix, where you can charge another $300 per month just for this one thing, check out this next video. I'll show you what it is, how it works, and how you can even get your first client.